Hey everyone, it's Melissa with Build a Better Bakery. So excited to have you here today for our hashtag Thursday Fave session. If you're reviewing this on the replay, go ahead and put up your hashtag replay so that I know that you've seen the content. I'm so excited to talk about today's topic because there are a lot of home bakers here in our group, here in our business community, our baking business community. And when I hear people talk about this specific subject, I can see it's causing a lot of anxiety within their business, and that is home pickups. There are lots of different situations where you might only be doing home pickup. You might not want people coming to your home. There could be situations where you are a home baker and you have to kind of come up with a creative solution to this. So in the comments, let me know, how are you currently dealing with your pickups? Are you a home baker that's doing bakery, pickups from your home? Yes or no in the comments, or let me know maybe just a couple sentences about how you're doing it now, so we can all come together and hopefully find solutions for everyone to be a little bit more comfortable with the subject. Let me double check that everything's good. You can see me and hear me. Okay, perfect. I hope I am able to see any comments. Being here live with you every week is really important to me. So if you have any questions or comments about the subject while I'm here live, of course I can see them and interact with you, so that's cool. Okay, I wanted to let you know before we hop in that you can join our email list to get replay links of our weekly live content that we put up here just for you. You can send me a friend request on the Facebook platform so I can send you direct invitations to these live events that happen currently at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every Thursday morning. You can check the event section to see what's happening, but honestly, I don't post them, weeks and weeks in advance. So when you check in there, check a couple days before to kind of see what we're talking about. You can look at the featured tab at the very top of the group, which is going to be where I'm pinning a lot of these live sessions for you, since it's current new information that you might be interested in. You can also join us on YouTube and follow us there, where I will post up replays, not all of them, but some of them, up on YouTube, and then you can get off of Facebook and move on to YouTube to watch if you want to. Okay, so those are all the options to getting your hands on this weekly live content that is free and made specifically for you and everyone that's here in this group. As I mentioned before, we're talking about making your bakery business pickups a breeze from home. Okay, the ones, doing pickups from a storefront, you can take some of these concepts as well. It's a little bit easier with a storefront because you only have open hours. So once you leave, you're gone, right? So if someone comes late and they're knocking on the door, you're not even there to really know about it. So a pickup from a storefront is going to be a little different. That's why we're going to talk specifically about homes today. And I want to share my 3 favorite strategies to have in mind to help make these pickups more of a breeze for you and your clients. And at the end, I also want to give you a few tips on how you can help your clients be on time, because I know a lot of you are concerned that your clients are late and they're wasting your time, and nobody wants that. And so there are 3 things that I do that I'm going to mention at the end that you could also start implementing or kind of, mold to your current situation. Okay, so number 1 on the list of making this home pickup situation more of a breeze for you is creating a space at your front door or wherever they're picking up from for no contact pickup and having it be professional and functional. I understand that not everybody has a front area for this, so you might have to get creative. There might be some things you have to install or a different situation to get set up. I totally get that, but this is for anybody who has some space in the front of their door where they would want to use for pickups. For me, it is a small wooden table. I usually don't do more than a couple pickups at a time, and I'll tell you exactly why that is and how I set that up later. I have my little wooden pickup table, and I have a business sign that I made. You can just order it. You don't have to make it yourself. A business sign that I made of my logo and my business name that's actually attached to the front of my house. That's important because then they know they're in the right place. I go out there, I sweep the porch every couple of days just to keep it kind of tidy looking, make sure there's no trash or anything blown up on the porch. And I like to keep some plants out there. That's just kind of my vibe. I'm kind of a plant lady. So I have those out there. And then I also, every couple seasons, I'll purchase a nice floor mat to have in front of the door. I claim it on my business taxes. It's mostly to make sure that they feel nice and comfortable when they come up to the door to pick up the item. First impressions are important. So keeping your area somewhat together is going to give them a better feeling when they're picking up their products. Now, this no contact space allows me to pop the item out instead of having someone coming to my door, ringing my doorbell, disturbing my family and my pets, knocking on my door, waiting for someone to pull up, staring out the window. I don't have to do any of that when I have the non-contact area set up. And so when the weather is nice, I prefer this option because it's just a lot easier for everybody. Sometimes your client's going to want to talk to you or they're going to have to hand it over physically. That's a different story, but this is for any opportunity where you can just do no contact. Depending on what you're selling, and you can let me know in the comments, hey Denise, hey Kelsey, #live, and hello, good to see you. Let me know if you're currently doing pickups from home and kind of what that looks like for you if you want to put it in the comments, just so we can kind of see where everyone's at. So depending on what you serve, you might need to install some kind of covered and marked bin, something that has a lid, something that, people can see, okay, maybe there's not a specific area where I'm going to pick up, but right here, there's a bin where I open it and the things are inside. You may also need to use some kind of refrigerated system, like a small fridge or something similar. There was a woman who lived here a couple years ago who sold macarons, and she wanted to do it that way. So she just got a small mini fridge and put it in the shade in the front of her home. And that's where you got your order from. So you can easily, if you have just a tiny little bit of space, you can get that set up. Otherwise, you can just walk it directly to their vehicle, right? If you don't have that space and you want that kind of, one or no contact, walking it to their vehicle is basically the only other option, right? If they're picking up from home, but they can't physically come up to your door and you don't want them knocking or ringing the doorbell. Okay. Number 2, what I like to do, and there might be some people who don't want to mess with this. I have found it so much easier, even though it takes a little bit more time. The precision and the ease that it creates for me and the client is just so much smoother that I like to use it. So what I like to do is collect the best information that I can get from them to stay in contact easily and consistently. And for me personally, that is a cell phone number that I can text, not Facebook Messenger, because that's not been, people messaging your Facebook page. You probably sometimes aren't getting these messages. Messenger, some people don't even have Messenger. So most people text, right? So that's how I like to stay in contact. And it helps also after the fact to stay in contact with that person to receive feedback, any kind of product photos that they might want to send over. They've already got your number. So it's actually creates kind of a more warm environment for them to work with you again or speak with you about the product and the service. And if you really, if you have a lot of return customers like I do, I save their information and their name and sometimes their address if I deliver to them a lot right inside of my cell phone. And if they're consistent customers, you'll use that information over and over again. You can personalize the text messages because their name is saved in there. When they're texting or calling to ask you for something, you know who it is. So again, it's just a way to personalize it. Okay. And then number 3, the other way that I like to keep my home bakery business pickups more of a breeze for everybody is to set clear expectations early and often. This is basically telling them, here's my job, it's XYZ. Your job is the client. You have a couple things to do. You need to tell me clearly what you want. You need to pay me in full for my service, and you need to pick up on time when you said you were going to pick up, right? There's like 3 different things that they have to do. That's one of them. And they need to understand that that's part of their job. And sometimes they don't, because maybe they don't order from people very often. Maybe they don't have good boundaries themselves. I don't know. But being able to set those early and often is going to help you keep things more streamlined. And I like to do all of this before the order is ever placed. I do it via a contract that I link on my website. That's the easiest way to do it. If you need a contract for template to kind of, help fit your business, I have that already in the shop. It is easy to get your hands on it. You just have to actually start using it and link it either through PDF or your website or a Google form, or there's lots of free options to get it up on the internet so people can see it before they actually place their order. And this is also going to help people with other aspects of ordering from you, from A to Z, allergies, legalities, understanding where you're located, right? Like sometimes people will place an order and they won't realize you're in a different state. They won't realize that you live 30 minutes away. Getting all that out first before anyone ever places any money down on anything is really, I think, important and is going to help with just the efficiency of everything, including pickup, but just the whole entire situation when people are trying to place orders with you. So we don't want anything to be overlooked is basically what I'm saying here. So some things that might be in there before they ever place an order, some kind of expectation. Maybe you do pickup day and time only, right? You only do pickups from X to Y. There's no, they need to know like pickups are just at this time. Maybe when you have a pre-sale or something similar, like an example I'm going to explain in a few minutes, maybe you have it scheduled, pre-scheduled for a day and a time, Friday from 4 to 5. They should know that before they ever place the order, because if they can't get there to pick up from 4 to 5, they either need to set something else up with you or they cannot place the order because they cannot fulfill their end of the bargain to actually get there and get it, right? Maybe you don't pick up from home, right? Maybe you're a type of person that doesn't want to do it, doesn't want people coming to your house, totally understandable. So then you would pick a location that's accessible for most people that you serve. And again, it would be a scheduled day and time. You can even let them know the address of the location, a pinned map, and maybe a set time. I'm only there from 12 to 2 on Sundays. Whatever it is, right? Everything up front before they ever place the order. Or maybe you only deliver, you don't do pickups. So no one's ever going to be late again because you're always delivering. That's another option as well. Again, it's just the clear expectations of what's going to happen from A to Z, and also what's going to happen if someone doesn't show up. This has happened to me before, and I'm sure if you've been doing this for a couple years or more, you've had people that are ghosting you, people who just aren't even there. Sometimes they've already paid, sometimes they've not, but people just not showing up in general. Denise says she does it from home. She says she really doesn't have any issues. Kelsey says, do you think it matters if you live kind of far? Hey, Debbie, #live, good to see you. I think it just depends on your audience, Kelsey, what kind of options they have closer to them, etc. So right now I live really close to everyone I service because I live in this tiny little community. When we lived back in Missouri at our last location, I was located approximately 25 minutes from everybody in the middle of like on a highway in a rural area. A lot of people were coming to me because I was, I was giving them an opportunity for products that they couldn't get closer to them. So for me, they were coming to me because there wasn't really any competition. So they kind of had to. Once in a while, I would deliver. If I was always already going into town, I would say, hey, I'm coming in around 2 anyway. Do you want me to drop it off? I would try to help people out. But for me, it didn't really affect. Now, if I was doing like a small pre-sale with items under $10, that might be a little different. That's what I do here. But back at that location, I was only doing like larger $100-ish orders. So people were willing to come get it. Now, I will say that I had people place orders with me that did not realize where I actually lived. They hadn't looked on a map. So if I had been smarter then, I would have sent them like a pinned map or, approximate drive time or something like that to give them an idea of what they were signing up for. Because a lot of them were like destination. There was a couple larger cities close to us that did a lot of destination weddings and events. And they didn't realize that they would have to drive 30, 40 minutes to get the thing and take it back to the destination. So that's why I'm bringing it up today, because I wasn't as clear about it then, and it did cause a couple issues. So if you can get that all cleared up. Now, so is it a problem if you're far away? No, I don't think so. Again, it just depends on, are they willing to come to you or not? If you wanted to have like a set time option that you could go to the larger town or wherever the people are living that are ordering from you and be there for wait a couple hours or something like that at like a local grocery store or a local gas station or something where it's like a public place where you can sit for a while. That could be an option if you're kind of in the middle of nowhere like I was. I know some people did do that there. Hey, Sarah, #live, good to see you. Hi, okay. So when people don't show, I I laid out my favorites, I guess I'll say. My favorites in the fully comprehensive bakery business contract that's in the shop on the website. They're all in there right now. I don't use all of them. I have just kind of compiled over the years my best ideas. I think each is going to fit your situation. So some people are going to want to do certain things, etc. All of them are not going to be right for everyone. You're probably just going to choose one as far as the expectation of what happens when people don't show up. Again, you just want to make sure they know the policy before they make any kind of payment so that they understand their position and what they need to do to fulfill their role as your client. Okay. Now, before we get into that, I wanted to give you an example of how this whole situation works for a pre-sale that I might run here in my small community. I would set up the pre-sale with images, pricing, etc. And I would let them know that it's a pickup day and time of XYZ. That's all up front before anyone ever places any money down. When they go onto my website, I'm collecting their cell phone number, which is how I'm going to stay in contact. They're going to pay me on the website, so I don't have to talk to them. You know, and my website's keeping inventory, so I don't have to like say, oh, there's only so many left, etc. Everything's taken care of automatically. They're going to fill out a form that includes that cell phone number, the products they want to order, and they're going to pick their own pickup time frame. So they're again being reminded this is not available until XYZ, and you get to pick the time that you want to come get it. It might just be one time a day, who knows. I take their order, they pay for their order, I make everything. And then the morning of the pickup, let's say they're picking up at like 4 p.m. I will text them myself personally at like 8 or 9 in the morning, remind them today is pickup day, remind them what they ordered. And then that's their first reminder. Okay. So so a lot of times people forget about these little things. So I send that out. I start the pickup time. And if I have any bags or any items left over, and I'm about 15 minutes out from the end of pickup time, I will text one more time to remind them or find out what's going on to set something else up for them. So I'm not waiting, wondering where this person is. We've already made contact. We've already set something up. The reason I choose 15 minutes is because everything here is about 5 minutes away from each other things. So if you live in an area where someone's going to have to travel like an hour to get to you, I would send that final message 30, 45 minutes out, so that if they're like, oh shoot, I forgot, they can hop in the car and get to you about the end of your pickup time. On each item at home, I have a little sticky tab that has the name, the items that are supposed to be with the order, and the phone number. I just take it right off the website, I write it down, I put it on the bag, I fill the bag, keep it in the fridge, wherever it has to be. And then it helps me keep everything straight when we're doing pickups. It does take a few minutes extra to do this. I'm not saying it's going to make it less time consuming, but it is very effective. I have found it to be very effective when I'm running pickup for more than like 5 people. If I'm doing like 100 people, I'm going to need to keep things straight in multiple ways. So for me, it's the text number, and then the notes on the bags. And of course, the website, just to keep everything situated. I've also been told by clients that the texting, keeping them up to date, has been lovely. They've really enjoyed it. They feel like they appreciate it, and they feel like they're being taken care of. And that's kind of what we're doing too as bakers, right? We're trying to help people feel good. So it's again, a little bit more time, but effective. Now, when they pull up, we're still talking about the pre-sale. When they pull up, they see the sign on my house, so they know they're in the right place. Any kind of sign you can put out there, something in the yard, something on a tree, something for them to see is going to help them feel more confident. If I have a lot of pickups at the same time, I ask them to text me back. This is a copy pasted message I send them. Text me back when you pull up. Do not get out of the car. Just pull up and send me a text that you're here. I will text you back when your item is on the pickup table. So if I have 8 people waiting outside, they've all sent me text messages. Car A, I bring the bag out for car A. I text back car A and say, your items are ready for pickup on the table. They leave their car, they pick up the items, and they drive away. Car B is in my text messages. I can see when they message me, right? Car B, I get the items, I put it out, and then I text them, hey, come pick up your items. So people aren't standing outside wondering whose is whose, taking the wrong thing, etc. They wait for the text. And this also allows me to only put like 1 or 2 items out at once. Nothing gets confusing, nothing gets hot, nothing sitting outside very long. And if someone shows up and there's no one else picking up at the same time, I usually just walk it to their vehicle, you know, and hand it off if I know them or if I know they're comfortable with that. I just do it that way. And so they don't have to actually get out. That's a way to kind of deal with multiple people at one time. Okay. Kate says, please don't give me detention for always being late. No worries. It is a miracle that I'm here on time most days. I will say that. It is very important to me to try, and I've been good at it lately, but no detention for you. I get it. Okay. So because late customers are an issue, as I mentioned before, I wanted to share a couple of those policy ideas. Again, all of these should be publicly visible in a contract format that this client is going to agree to before placing an order, because some of these are pretty strict. They need to know that this might happen if they don't show, okay? So the first one is simply staying in contact with that texting or however you want to stay in contact, reminding them about the pickup in the morning or beginning of the day, and then letting them know during the pickup time that it's time to pick up. It really cuts down on a lot of late people. They just need a reminder, okay? Number two, you can charge for late pickups. If anyone's ever taken their child or a child to a daycare, you will see this as a policy at daycares very often. This is where you have to pay a fee because you're late before they hand the item over to you. Or maybe they're charging every 10 minutes you're late, you owe another $5 or something like that, right? I don't like doing that because it seems really nickel and dime, and that's just not my personality. But plenty of daycares do it, and it's very common in a lot of other industries. So if that works for you, you can choose that one. You can have those hard store hours even if you're at home. So we have pickup certain times, certain days. I'm not available after that. You can come to the next available pickup if you miss this slot. Kind of like acting like you're not home, right? Like, I'm leaving now. I won't be here for working. So you can come tomorrow from 12 to 2, my next pickup time. And then lastly, as I mentioned before, you can offer delivery only. That might be the way you want to do it, and stop dealing with late people altogether. So some people don't want to do that. Gas is expensive. Some people have a lot of little kids. Some people don't like to drive. I get it. Might not work for you, but that's an opportunity to like erase pickup drama altogether. So if you would like a big old list of policies, including everything we talked about today and more that you can pick and choose from, different boundaries, different tips and ideas to using your contract and sharing your contract, you'll find all of it in a collective template that I've used over the last 10 years inside the bakery business contract template, if that is something you feel like you need. If you'd rather download it and use it right away, ready to go, instead of like sitting around and spending hours and hours compiling it on your own and maybe forgetting something along the way, you can do it either way. It might be a good asset for you to just get it and use it right now, or sit down and put some hours towards this. If it's something you want to do on your own, you want to DIY it, I get that too. So either way, I just want you to be protected, and I want this to be easier for you, but you are probably going to need something in writing that's going to help your clients understand the pickup process and how it's going to work for them. So you can DM me with the word contract if you want a link to look at that one. It does show you it doesn't give you all the policies and boundaries, but I do list out all of the sections so you know exactly what I have included in there to get an idea of what I think the most important parts of a contract would be. Okay. Kate says, my policy is if they don't show, they forfeit the product and no refund will be issued. Of course, I can be flexible in case of emergency, but I don't have time to wait for people. So I said pick up times and locations, and they need to be there. Right, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's good. If this is working for you and this is what your clients need to hear, you know that best, right? So everyone has their own style wherever they live. People have a different set of boundaries they're used to. So if you have something that works, just stick with it. If you want it to be more clear, maybe do the contract and have people sign it or look at it before they place the order, remind them what's going on, send them a message with the contract information. Just so everyone, it's all about setting the expectation. It's all about just letting them know this is how it's going to be if you want this to be successful. I think that's just important to have the info out there. Okay, and Kate, yeah, I'll get you the link in a minute so you can check that out, the contract. Okay, so I hope you all have a great day. That's all for me today. Hope you're surviving the end of school and graduation and everything else is happening right now. I do plan on posting a giveaway tomorrow, I think, in the group. So stay tuned to the group, check it out. It's going to be really easy to get your little entry in to do for the giveaway. I love to send boxes once in a while and I haven't in a while. So I want to get in there and post that for you. Okay. All right. You're welcome. And I will talk to y'all later. Have a great day.